Shelley, now, hello to everybody. Now, before we start, I want to raise an issue. And I wrote it to Joe, and I didn't raise it today before we did our normal talks, but I want everybody else to raise it to him. I have done everything I can to find Dr. V Joe Talks. I've gone all over YouTube. Oh, I can't find it. I wanted to subscribe. I had some people I could get to subscribe. We can't find it. So what we have to do is we have said to Dr. V, that's Dr. V there, on many occasions, change the name of your channel because it ain't there, it ain't working. So every time I say please subscribe, if you can't find it, thank you for at least looking. That's how I look. And everybody should put comments in and go, Dr. V, come up with a new name.
All right.
You see how he's saying, all right, that's nice of him. Okay, let's get to where we're going here. I love this guy. Joe and I were really arguing like crazy beforehand, not as much as we were last time, but we're going to be going at it here about really the idea of what this talk is the ministry of truth. Ministry of truth means it comes out of Orwell, 1984, where the government comes in and says, this is what the truth is. It's like Soviet style. Most of you don't know Soviets. USSR, they call themselves communists. They come in and say, this is the way it is, this is what history is, and this is where we are. Now we're coming into the ministry of truth. This is a great off day to be able to talk about it because there isn't all this big stuff out there. But let's see where we're going. Hey, let's fire the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics because data doesn't matter. You know, Dr. V thinks, and we're going to talk about why I disagree. I think Dr. V kind of understands now. Data doesn't matter. Data only matters in the eyes of the beholder who wants to listen to data because they want to believe it. It doesn't matter anymore. It'll matter one day again when people are rational. We fire the head of the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and what happens? 2 days later, Trump comes in, 1 or 2 days later, with Steve Moore, and they put up these big charts and say, see, the numbers are all wrong. So people ask, well, where's the data? Where's the facts to back all that up? They couldn't come up with it. They came up with nothing, zero. But people remember seeing this when Trump puts the stuff up. When we're talking about all this, the ministry of truth, remember, we're talking about do people believe, is it data, or do they just feel it inside, and are they just going inside with this, okay? Fire the head of the BLS because they didn't like true data. And let's keep one thing in mind for any of you who may think it's crazy. Trump has been firing everybody. He had Doge go in and fire a zillion people. How can you think that unemployment isn't going up? To sit there and say it's wrong, the numbers are wrong, doesn't make sense because they're firing everybody. On top of that, remember, these companies don't respond most of the time. They take months to get to you, so the numbers have to change. So then you're listening to Steve Bannon and this new guy they're putting in for the BLS saying, we need a MAGA guy. Archie, how are you? We need a MAGA guy. We need this. Well, I don't hear them saying we need an American. I don't hear them saying we need an American who knows what he or she is doing. No, it's got to be a MAGA guy who's going to fix, hey, Spartacus, who's going to fix the numbers. The fix is in, guys. Data is meaningless. Let's look at another one. Fired the FBI agents who worked on January 6th. Why? Because Trump did nothing wrong there. And he let all these people out of jail. He's talking about going after President Obama and all these people. He's got nothing there, but he's got video of people attacking the Congress, and he just lets them all out because, hey, it's okay. Who cares about data? It doesn't matter. You see it. Your eyes lie. Double tap. Oh, thank you. Your eyes lie. Let's go on. Fires anybody who worked with Democrats. They're finding out every time somebody works for a Democrat, they fire them. They may be good. They may have done a good job, but data doesn't matter because all that matters is how they feel. Are you MAGA? Are you red state? Doesn't matter if you're an American. Who cares if you're an American? Doesn't matter if you're an American anymore. All that matters is that you're in a red state or a blue state. And to Trump, if you're in a red state, he'll help you. If you're in a blue state, he won't help you. It's really simple. He makes chip companies that understand. I mean, this stuff's all real. It makes you shake your head. NVIDIA was selling to China. Trump says no. Okay, no. Then he says, but if you kick back 15% to us, we'll let you sell to China. Sell your chips to China. Oh, really? Not their best chips, but good chips. So you sit there and you go, now the United States is walking in and saying, we're going to take a piece of your action. Is that what capitalism is? Is that where we've gone? Is that what business is? I want a piece of your action. And I want to see where that 15% is going to go. Is that going to go in to fix Trump's $400 million airplane that he's going to have all shiny and waiting for him when he's no longer president if he decides not to run again? Let's keep going here. He makes hundreds of millions of dollars on crypto while he's deregulating crypto. No regulation, but data doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that he's making hundreds of millions. It doesn't matter that his kids are making hundreds of millions. It doesn't matter. There's the data. They show it to everybody. The answer is Biden. Biden, that's what I hear. Every time you talk about hundreds of millions, well, we got a $400 million airplane. This is an easy situation, guys. Excuse me. It doesn't matter who you like. Biden's kid was an addict, a drug addict who I think dragged his father down. I think his father loved him, looked out for him, and took care of him. But Hunter Biden was a user, in my opinion, a user who went out, used his name, used his father's name, went out and made money. They've had that for years. That's gone on for, I can't, since the beginning of the Republic, I assume. Not only that, all these congressmen, Republicans and Democrats, making big money. How did Biden make his money? The way, I assume, the way Marjorie Taylor Greene's making hers. They know what they're proposing, they pass it, and then, or they know what the president's going to do, and then they buy the stocks. And then they sell the stocks when they go up. These guys know what they're doing. But Biden, as against Trump, Trump is a grifter in this type of action. The president of the United States should not be involved in crypto when he's out there pushing crypto, when he's out there and pushing his kids' crypto. All of this, and keep this in mind, guys, when we go forward with this and they start taking crypto as a say coin of the realm or currency, what's crypto worth? What is it change that day? Is that day it's worth $100,000, the next day it's worth 118, the next day it's worth 90. How do you know? How is that going to work? How can that back up a mortgage? But it doesn't matter, right? The facts don't matter because the president believes he's going to put that money in his pocket. That's the data. That's the only data that matters. Hundreds of millions in his pocket. How about Russia? We're talking more data. 2 weeks he's going to deal with it. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. What's that? 4 times 2? That's 8 right there. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. What about the 50 days? Let me tell you something. There was a time in this country where rationality worked and where it mattered what data said because people actually looked at data and said, I can take it and make conclusions. That's what it did. That's not where we are anymore. I have been saying this for a while. I think Joe may be coming on a little bit. You'll be hearing from him soon. But data doesn't work anymore. Data only works in a rational society. And this is not a rational society because we have a president who is focused on splitting the United States into red and blue and not telling the truth about most everything so that he can get the red states to do well, to give him power so he can put money in his pocket and his family's pocket. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Let's keep going here. What's he doing in Gaza? I keep hearing about all the peace he's bringing everywhere. Peace of what? Is it P-I-E-C-E of something? Or is it P-E-A-C-E? I'm starting to wonder if it's the former. Because we keep seeing all this going on. Former means the first one. We keep seeing all this going on, and nothing's going on in the Middle East except more bombings, more killings, more everything. And in the end, I'm telling you, this anti-Semitic thing is going to get even worse because people are going to get sick and tired of what's going on in Israel, and people are going to turn on Israel in this country. And it's already starting to happen, and it's because Trump's blowing it. Once again, he says he's doing great, but he ain't because all we see are more people dying in Gaza, in the Middle East, and that's all we see. And where's our president who wants, what does he want? He wants a peace, P-E-A-C-E or P-I-E-C-E of a trophy so he can say he gets the Nobel Prize. At least Obama said when he got it, he had no idea why he was getting it. I mean, hey, he was upfront about it. Trump, this is bad data, bad facts. Peace, 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 peace of nothing. fired the head of the IRS. Did you see that? His boy, Billy Long, I think was his name, was the head of the IRS. He's now made him ambassador to like Greenland or something. He's really rocking. Or Iceland, I think. I think he stood up to Doge. Doge walked into the IRS and said, I want to see people's private information. The government, the courts are allowing it because the courts no longer care. The Supreme Court, who I call the supine court, look it up, S-U-P-I-N-E, the supine court, that's all it is. So people let him do whatever he wants to do with this as we're going ahead. So now they're going in, Doge, and checking information on people who are here paying taxes. Now remember, these immigrants who are here, who've been working for years, have been paying, we talked about this how often, Joe, have been paying taxes and paying Social Security. They don't get Social Security, and they get no benefits from the taxes. And the idea always was, like the first 20, 30 years, because Congress did nothing and sat on their hands, was these people are here working, and in return for working, they pay taxes, they pay Social Security, they don't get any benefits except to be able to live here. Now what's going to happen is Trump's going to walk in and look at that data. Unfortunately, Joe, this is where there's good data. He's going to look at this data and say, now I've got these people. Private. And then what happens when it's more than just immigrants they're looking at? What happens when they start looking at Joe's? What happens when they start looking at yours? What happens when they start looking at Americans' numbers, Americans' private info, because that's all that matters. Because you know something? That's the only real data we have. That's true is IRS. So some people may be filing false returns, who knows? But most of it is clean and right on, and they are using it to help take over parts of this country. This is very Soviet-like. You guys know the Soviet Union? Never heard of it, right? USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, and it was all Eastern Europe, run by first Lenin, then Stalin, as it kept working its way. Gorbachev worked its way through. But what they did is what Trump is doing now. They took over our culture. Trump's walking in and coming into the Smithsonian. Have you heard what's going on with the Smithsonian, Joe? He said he's going to go in and make it because of the 250th anniversary, make it so we can be proud of ourselves. You know something? I've always been proud of this country. What a great country. This guy seems to think, and his cultists seem to think, that you can only say good things. One great thing about this country is that we dealt with problems, we moved them over and got better and greater because of it. But no, we got to wipe everything clean. And still, the perfect example is the Enola Gay. Nobody knows history. The Enola Gay. That's really homosexual, isn't it? The Enola Gay. Let's get the facts straight. He got rid of the Enola Gay until they got called out. The Enola Gay was the plane that dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. So when the pilots were flying it, they were going, wow, we've got a gay airplane. It was the Enola Gay. What am I missing? If you look back, I can see them changing stories and stuff. Back 40, 50, 70, 100 years ago, the word gay just meant happy, carefree. So can you see Trump coming in and taking all those words out? Because, wow, it must be homosexual, even though it had a totally different meaning years ago. Data. I agree with Joe on data, but we're having some real problems here. Petalago, Alco, hi, kitty. What's the other option to deal with the crime? I'm not fighting with the crime. He's in D.C. Look, you want to jump to that? He has every right to be in D.C. It's a federal district. It's the District of Columbia. It's not a state. It's not a city that has electoral votes or anything like that. That's what it is. They are not separate and apart. He has the right to go in there. The issue is going to be if Trump goes into other cities. And I'll tell you, I live in one of those cities. Joe lives in another one of those cities. It'd be sick if they brought the guard in here. You don't need it. Everything's okay. There's issues, but there sure ain't riots, burnings, and anything going on. It's fake data. It's jive. It's lies. It's the ministry of truth, which isn't truth. That's Orwell, 1984. Almost there, Joe. Says ICE officers are getting hurt, given these percentages. That's why they have to wear masks. They have to wear masks. They have to scare everybody because they got to protect themselves. So they have to wear masks. These guys, the bros, as they're advertising pretty much, as they're going to make like $50,000 bonuses to walk in. They got to wear masks because everybody's doxing them. Everybody's doing everything. And then you hear these guys talk, the top guys, oh, it's 70% happens and 30% happens. Where's the data, Joe? I don't see the data, but they sure throw it out there. Ministry of Truth. Really lies. Let's keep going here. We're almost there. Smithsonian. What does he do with the Smithsonian? He's walking in and saying, I don't like this stuff. Let's not talk about slavery. Let's not talk about civil rights. Why should we even talk about World War II? Why should we even talk about the revolution? The king should have kept on running this country. Why not? Because we have a guy who thinks he's the king, and they're letting him do it because it's more than the king. It's a cult. It's become a cult. That's all it's become. No more than that, a cult. No, let's get to the vaccines and stuff. Hey, vaccines make autism. Joe's going to tell you, he's going to come right on and go, the data shows it. You got autism and you got a vaccine. That means you've got problems with the vaccine. Isn't that true, Joe? It's just because it happens, it's true. And we're sitting there now, we have all these measles. These people dying and getting sick. You supposed to feel sorry for them? I feel sorry for the kids. The parents don't care enough to protect the kids, okay? West Coast is a good coast. It's nice over there. We're there. That's one more thing. Texas. What's going on with Texas? Why are we splitting up this country? Blue, red. Texas gets floods. Trump pumps cash into Texas. Texas says, hey, why don't we just split up and give them some more votes and see if we get more congressional offices there. But let me tell you something. If the Democrats are smart, they meet them head on. I don't mean just Democrats, any independent candidates. Anybody. You go into Texas, you run against these guys, because remember, there's only so many people there. So if you're going to keep splitting it up into smaller, there's size requirements, but you keep breaking it up, you may be able to get in there and get those votes. You may be able to beat them. You may be able to surprise them, because people don't want to hear it's a fix. It's a fix. The fix is in with numbers of the BLS. It's going to be. The fix is in Texas. The fix is in everywhere. That's what the Trump is doing. The Ministry of Truth, it is over in this country. Our legal system is really in major disrepair. Look at the Supreme Court. I'm going to say it again. The supine court, look it up. Anything Trump wants, he gets. Every now and then they get on him. Remember, after his State of the Union, he walked up to the Chief Justice and he thanked him. Why did the president thank the Chief Justice? Oh, I wonder why. Maybe it's because he thought by getting all those guys in, he could get almost full immunity. Where are we? Devo. D-E-V-O. We are devolving. Joe, I'm sweating. I'm having problem. Michael, it's not the pillow guy. We've talked about that over the years. I'm better looking than the pillow guy. That ain't saying nothing, but I'm better looking. So no, it isn't. Standing around in the rain looking silly. Well, Benja, what can I tell you? That's really pretty bad. Got that 70s porn stash? Nah. 70s? Did I have a stash in the 70s? I don't know. You think this is porn like, Joe? You think this is porn like? Let me tell you this. There ain't no chick, no woman that wants to do any porn with a guy who looks like this. So I don't see this being porn like. I'm just lucky my wife loves me, okay? And I have to say the same about you too, because you ain't no better looking than I am. I think that's one reason I love you so much, because whenever I went into the bars with the good-looking guys, I had no chance with the women. It was bad. You had to sit there and go, well, if he didn't like this one, maybe she'll talk to me. Joe and I were in that second. We talk good. We can talk good to him. But the look, this ain't exactly blue eyes, blonde hair. Right, Joe? Like Rizzo. The way we look like after cereal. I don't know, Benja. I don't eat cereal. Joe, what's your thoughts on this? Let's go, baby. It's a good one today. Go ahead.
Well, I disagree with your premise that facts don't matter.
Data doesn't matter.
They certainly do matter. It's the problem is that the current administration is playing with the facts and twisting them and making up facts and trying to lead people on with false facts.
Wait a second. Time out. A fact can't be false. It's a fact or it isn't a fact. You can't make up facts. When you're saying this, Joe, you're
up statements and present them as facts.
I'm asking you to
convince people that is a fact.
Perfect. That's how I want you to go at it, because what they want. Wait a second before you do it.
Observations that are not accurate It's not helpful.
Well, understand something.
And when you push an agenda and you make up information to tell people that's not accurate, it's called propaganda. And I mean, that's what every authoritarian government tries to do, is they push, as we would say, the technical term is bullshit. And so that's what people are hearing and they're believing. And that's a concern. I believe facts are very important. If the country is going to solve problems, we really need to have facts. That doesn't mean that every fact isn't susceptible to being changed, as we learned to do.
Then it isn't a fact, Joe. It's not. You're falling into their game. It's a fact or it isn't a fact. You can't say it's made up facts. That it isn't a fact. It's either a fact. Look, be a lawyer about this.
Okay,
it's either a fact or it isn't a fact. A fact is the truth.
Yeah, we can get into a philosophical debate about what the truth is.
It's the truth. The fact is the truth. Here's 5 fingers. Here's a hand. That's a fact. Okay? Saying I have 6 fingers isn't a fact. But if you want to say it's 6 fingers and go, well, really, it's 6 fingers, and that's a fact, because your fake fact about 5, it isn't a fake fact. There's facts and there's no facts. And the only other facts are fax machines. They're FAXs and they got nothing to do with this. But don't fall into their game. There's either facts, just like data. There's either real data or it's jive. And it ain't data, it's jive. There's either facts or it's lies or BS. Now run with it. If you do it that way, we control the conversation. But if we fall into their game of fake facts, this, that, then we're giving them what they want and we're letting them change the English language to mean something else so that people fall into their jive. I'm sorry. I'm more into words. You're into data. I'm more into words. And to me, it's that important. Go ahead.
Well, so if we could define what a fact is, and you would say a fact is something that pretty much everyone agrees upon as being true, then it's still a social construct that everyone agrees on that.
Oh, everybody agrees I got 5 fingers? That's not social construct. That's a fact.
Again, I would say a fact is the world is round, and some people would disagree with that.
Then but that, so they can disagree, but it is a fact.
It's getting warmer, that we have global warming, and some people would disagree with
But it is a fact. So it doesn't matter.
I would say facts, but not necessarily everyone agrees with.
Right, because they don't believe in facts. They don't believe in facts. You see, stick with it.
How do you determine if something like global warming is a fact or not?
Global warming isn't important now. What's a fact is that Trump lies.
There you go. 4 fingers, 1 thumb. So you didn't have 5 fingers. You had 4 fingers, 1 thumb.
A thumb is a finger. A thumb is a finger.
Up on semantics. The point is that there are certain things that we look at observations, and from the observations we make certain conclusions.
That's different.
About how the world is set up.
That's different.
If we want to know what the rate of unemployment is, there's certain procedures that we go through that measure unemployment, and then theoretically an unbiased agency collects that information and puts out a report that we can agree upon is a fact.
But Trump doesn't.
Looking at the rate of crime in Washington, D.C., theoretically there's an unbiased system set up to measure that and then to accurately report it. And what I'm saying is those kinds of facts do matter, because that's how we make decisions about how to best solve our problems. And a lot of times we don't know all the answers yet. When COVID was out, we had vaccines. We thought that they were safe. Our best guess was that they were safe, but it's always subject to more information. We had a theory that did it come from a lab, not come from a lab. That's all subject to getting more information and changing our opinion based on the new information. And that's what evolution is all about, is that you have a theory about things, and you test the theory, and then you collect more facts, more data to see if your theory is correct or not. I mean, right now, I'm playing for my fantasy football team, and so I'm looking at facts. I'm looking at how did they perform last year. I'm looking at what did the experts say. I'm trying to gather as much data as I can to make predictions about who's going to do well this year, so I can make a strong case for who I'm going to draft. But again, that's just a prediction, and then until we actually run the experiment and find out what happens, then we'll find out if that was true or not.
So that's not a fact.
The point is you constantly evolve based on what the results are. And if it turns out my predictions about what was an important factor predicting who's going to do well was not borne out by the data, then you change your idea about what are the important variables that I need to look at. And that's how you solve problems. That's how evolution occurs. You float an idea, see if it works. If it doesn't work, you try something else. But you have to, we have to be on the same page that when you test something and you look at the result, we all agree what that result is.
The result is Trump won. And that's the day they're all agreeing with it. That's the only data that matters. So if Trump won and Trump can come out and put out everything he wants to do and put out lies, that's the only data that matters, Joe.
Yeah, but no matter if your guy won or not, it's up to you to determine when somebody puts out something and says something, is it accurate or not? And that takes work, it takes thinking, and you're probably right. A lot of people don't want to do that effort to determine if something is true. So because they wear the same color hat that you do, you accept whatever comes out of their mouth as being true. And if you do that, you're not going to necessarily be successful in life, because the superpower that human beings have is that they can learn, so they can observe things, they can change their mind based on new information, they can try different things, they can experiment. And if you give that up by just blindly obeying what somebody else says, then you're not going to get ahead. You're not going to succeed.
They think they are.
If the country, if that's what they want to do, that's on them. Hopefully those are the kind of people who join my fantasy football league, because if they base their choices on what feels good, if they just pick players that are on their team, they're going to lose to me in fantasy football.
But who cares?
And that's how it works in life too.
So what?
You just base your decisions on who's on your team and don't look for the correct answer, you're not going to succeed.
But that's where we are, and they are succeeding, and the red team is winning. And that's what's going on. And you have to accept reality.
The red team's not even playing.
They are. The red team's winning.
Doing things that they said that they were going to do, and the blue team is sitting back and crying.
What do you want? They don't. But they don't. The only way they can do it is go and knock on doors and get in people's face. They don't have power. They don't have the votes.
The red team got together, and smart people who looked at facts, who looked at data, said, let's put together a program of how we're going to get back in power. They came up with Project 2025. And they said, when we get back in power, what are we going to do? What kind of mistakes did we make in the past that we can correct now going forward? So there's a lot of smart people on the red team who looked at real data and made smart moves. They didn't just say it feels good. They looked at facts.
And the facts were...
And they were smart.
Right.
They were absolutely smart. And now they're in a position where they can exert.
But Joe, the facts they saw were that Hulk Hogan could go up there and rip it up and people will vote for him. So those are facts, but that's what it is.
Based on facts.
But those are the facts.
The people is based on propaganda, which is facts too.
What
can I do to get votes?
That's all that matters. You see, you can talk.
There has to be somebody who says, even though I'm pushing out bullshit.
No.
Even though I'm pushing out bullshit, I know what the real facts are. I can convince these sheep to go along with me.
They got the cult. They don't have to convince them. They just wake up and they're automatically convinced. And that's the point. Data is meaningless. I can put out data. I can say the aliens have arisen and have arrived, and people will believe it and they'll run with it. I can say JFK was, even though all the stuff came out, there's nothing on JFK. There's still the JFK stuff. There's still people who say that the Earth isn't round. Of course it's round, but they're going to believe it. It's not a fact. It's BS. And they put out the BS because they know that the people they can get mad and play with their emotions, that's the fact. That's the data.
They did a great job of establishing a group of people who would follow them no matter what they said.
Who were emotional, who don't care about data.
You're right. They used emotional tactics
to
get people to
and they won, and they're still winning.
But the Democrats do that too. That's just
no, they can't because they don't know how to do it. Wrong. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it. So data is losing. There was a time when you can go out and say, this is happening, this happened. Look at these numbers, and people would go, wow. They don't care anymore. People don't care about smart. They don't care if you're smart. They'd rather you be dumb. They'd rather you come in and be like J.D. Vance, who went to Yale, comes in, puts out his book, calls Trump the American Nazi or the American Hitler, and then goes around and kisses his butt and starts acting like he's his best buddy, and runs around and hates Europe and hates democracy out there, and seems to think that the way to deal with things here are putting people down and getting rid of them and putting troops on the street. That's emotion. That's emotion. It's got nothing to do with data. The only data they got is they know that they got 35% of the people who do anything they want to do, and they can put out a lot of other BS, and as long as people are making money, they're going to go, wow. Because what they're doing to this country is changing it long term. We're in real trouble here. I don't know, it's going to outlive us. Because his change, he made a massive change to the left where facts don't matter, where data doesn't matter, where they can put lies up there and people can go, yeah, see, he said it, it's true. And that's what it is. We will not agree on data for God knows how long. There's no research, there's hardly any research going on anymore because you can't agree on that data, on whether or not you have the money to be able to do it. You can't agree on anything. The whole thing has been set up to separate us. Trump's focus has been to separate us. Come in with the motion, come in with hate, come in with grift, put money in his pocket and act like he cares about everybody else. Comes up with no facts except the guts, the lies, the stuff he puts out there, and people love it. There are no facts. They're lies. If there's one fact out of 10 statements he makes, that's one. I'm sorry, it's over with that. There is no such thing as the truth anymore. There is no data. Data is what the people in power want to put out, and that's called the Ministry of Truth. And wait till you start seeing what they do to the Smithsonian. Started with Enola Gay, started with Jackie Robinson, started with all these guys. What are you talking about? Come on, that's emotion. America, we have to make America look great. America is great. When will people wake up and understand that being honest and being truthful about our history is one of the things that make us so great? But it doesn't work because they rather lie about it. They rather cover it up. They rather do all of it. It's called de-evolution. That's what it's called. Going back, power, Soviet Union, USSR. This president is a communist. He's an autocrat who believes like the USSR. You have to have programs. You have to have government running everything. Government decides who you fire in your company. Government decides who you hire in your company. Government decides what you think. Government decides what school you go to. Government decides what the rules are at those schools. Government decides what you're going to learn at the Smithsonian. Government decides all this stuff. Horrible. Goes both ways. The woke stuff was horrible. I'm not taking up for that. But over here on this side, this is total domination of lies.
So what's the solution?
There is no solution. We're in big trouble.
Oh my goodness.
The solution is we have to win elections, and people have to get mad, and people have to start spitting, and people have to start saying, I don't care what you say. I listen to these guys with like CNN. Scott Jennings, he's a smart guy. He's the right wing guy they do at night, and the other guys, and they have these shots. They like these close-ups on him. Every time he disagrees with somebody, he goes, It's like that whole Republican look. They do the same thing on Fox News. Laura Ingraham, all these guys. It's like, it's of course you're wrong. Of course you're wrong. Of course this. It doesn't work. We got to take them on. You got to say you're a liar. People won't say that, Joe. The Trump cultists will call others a liar, but people will say, oh, no, we can't call them a liar. They are liars. And you got to call it out and say it for what it is, because this is the problem. We are cleaved in this country. We are cleaving apart. Okay, and if you don't start taking them on the other side with argument, with discussion, with coming in with this stuff, we're going to just kill our country. And that's what it is.
You're agreeing with me. We need to fight them with facts.
No,
call them on their bullshit.
Yeah, no, but it's emotion. Because I can sit there and go.
I mean, we can do it in a way that's
nope.
that can lead to people being motivated.
Doesn't work.
You don't have to be Spock in this data.
Really,
we can present a good convincing argument that people can get fired up about, but the way to fight This stuff is with actual facts.
No, it isn't. The way to fight is say you're a liar, you're wrong, this is what it is, period.
Well, then you just have two people calling each other liars.
So what? Hey, Joe, right now, that's where we are in this country. Right now, we are split into two separate countries. Very much so. Like two intermodal companies out there.
So your solution is just to yell at each other.
My solution is you got to yell back and let people who vote.
Yell back with what?
And let
facts.
A lie says it's a fact.
So you're going to fight lies with facts. We agree.
Yeah, but data is meaningless because you can come in and say all the facts you want, but if you do it like this, which is what everybody's doing on TV, the Democrats, well, let me explain this to you. It's weaponized. You know that the Republicans are weaponizing everything, and when they weaponize, and people are sitting there going,
The Democrats have been really crappy with presenting facts.
Because it's not a matter. It's a matter of taking on and saying and taking the sword and saying wrong. I'll meet you one-on-one, and it's like fencing. You're doing it and you deal with it, and they're not doing it. They roll over and they sit there and they go.
I agree. The Democrats are rolling over, and that's why they're not very popular right now.
And because they're not coming in and showing any emotion, because they're afraid, because they're scared. They're scared. That's what matters is emotion.
The universities are scared. The legal system is scared. Lawyers are scared.
Not all of them. Sorry.
The only people who are not scared are the people who write for South Park.
And they're going to taste it off. So they've made so much money they don't care. As I've always said, we either stand together or we stand alone. And right now, people aren't standing. Good time, I love you. And people aren't standing together right now. So what's happening is to take out every little group as they can, so you'll be all alone when it's all over. It's a matter of taking it on. It was like in Uvalde. Everybody sat back. Why? Because it was poor people in Uvalde. Did anybody stand up for the people in Uvalde against the governor of the state of Texas? Did anybody stand up in Uvalde against all those cops who sat there with guns and let those kids die? No, because that's how they do things there. Sorry. Too mad. I've had it. I've had it.
Emotion is good.
That's what we need.
And standing up for what you believe.
That's right. That's right.
But what you believe needs to be based on facts. It needs to be based on data. It needs to be based on truth.
It needs to be based
on bullshit.
It needs to be based on belief and love and taking it on. And let me tell you something. Even though
Yoel is right on. His comments have been right on the mark.
Yoel's right there.
You need to be able to present things in a viral, interactive way that gets people's attention. That's absolutely true.
That's what we're talking about. And that's what I like to do. And let me tell you something. Even though the former lead singer of Led Zeppelin hates Stairway to Heaven, today's album of the week is Led Zeppelin 4. Okay? Had Stairway to Heaven on it. They say it's horrible. They don't like it anymore. Listen to it. Crank it up. Listen to all the music. I know Joe loves this album. Listen to the music on this album, okay? Incredible. Here we go. I love looking at these. This is an album. This is what we used to listen to. Misty Mountain Hop. When the Levee Breaks. Everybody knows When the Levee Breaks, right? We go on. Black Dog, great drumming. Rock and Roll, The Battle of Evermore, which was really kind of Queen did that. Stairway to Heaven. Every song on this album rocks. Every song on this album rocks. I'm saying it again. Every song on this album rocks. Sure they did, Thomas, but it sounds good. That's what everybody's missing. They took Spirit, I believe, sued them. Not Spirit. Who was the lead guitarist for that? Saying the Stairway to Heaven came from a song he was doing. Okay, why am I having trouble remembering the guy's name, the lead guitarist? They lost, but if you listen to it, it sure sounded like they stole it from them, the first 4 or 5 notes. But, you know, rock and roll was always kind of taken from everybody. Zeppelin took it, but what they did was they took it to another level. Their music was incredible. You could party out, crank it up. Let me tell you what's so great about Zeppelin. I had the Phase Linear 400 power amp. It blew it out all the time. Let me tell you, it wasn't enough power, it got hot. But geez, think how vicious that music was to take the amp and you're hearing ba-da, bomb, and then boom, you hear nothing because the amp shut down. It was just incredible, the power going through there. Was I a super Zeppelin fan? It's funny, it's like the same way with the Beatles. I thought I wasn't a major Beatles fan, but I got almost every album the Beatles did. But I love the Beatles, but I wasn't a number one Beatles fan. I wasn't a number one Zeppelin fan. I'm down there going through my collection today. I got every album Zeppelin did. I don't know why. I just did because it's really good music. But how can you not listen to Stairway to Heaven and just sit there and go, oh my Lord, crank it up, just sit there, have a good time. When the levee breaks, another great song. Black Dog, listen to the music. They just rock this. What do you think of Zeppelin, Joe? What do you think of Zeppelin?
I love Zeppelin, of course.
Let me ask you this. Did they ever have alarm?
But let me just say that the best version of Stairway to Heaven was by heart at the Kennedy Center Honors celebration, celebrating the induction of Led Zeppelin into the whatever it was, Hall of Fame or whatever it was. But that's the best version of it.
And that's on YouTube? Can you see it on YouTube?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So people should look at it YouTube?
It is. People should look it up on YouTube if you haven't seen it yet.
Thomas, Phil Oakes is good, but I'll tell you, I was more into Peter, Paul, and Mary. Puff the Magic Dragon, If I Had a Hammer, a lot of that stuff. There was just a lot of good folk stuff out there. It was before then and after then. And how about Simon and Garfunkel? Some great music there. But I just wanted to rock out because there's nothing better than making your ears bleed. There's nothing better than just getting crazy and sit there going, wow, you come sweating, ball game's over. You go, how can I put up with this? I can't handle it anymore either way. Next week, I'll be here Sunday, but next week I'm going to go on the road. I'm going to be seeing some other people out there. We'll see if we're going to be bringing in Joe, see what we can do. But I'm going to be working out. We're going to bring McCullough in, see if he wants to talk. We're going to bring in Broads and the kids, see if they want to talk. We're going to, my nephews won't, but maybe they will. We'll give them a shot. And then we'll see what goes on with it. All I can tell you is this. We didn't have many viewers today, which is fine because we got to talk this stuff out and deal with it. Sounds of Silence, great song. My favorite song of them all was At the Zoo. Okay, when you talk about all the different animals at the zoo. And how about I'm a Rock? If that isn't now, I am a rock, I am an island. That's what people do. They're all away from each other. Nobody kind of comes in. My books cover me. My books protect me, right? My poetry protects me. Isn't that one of the lines on there? People don't look at it that way, but it's really kind of what it was. We didn't have video. We have music and made it happen. So yeah, great song. CSNY, good song, good group. I liked them, of course, when it was CSNY. I didn't like them that much as CSN. I love Neil Young. We've pushed the Neil Young album more out there. You all, it did. Psychedelic Age opened the minds of many. You know how I feel about it. Monterey, 1966. 67. Summer of Love. Hendrix, Joplin, Otis. I mean, making it happen. Music. Come on, that's what's great about this country. That's all great. And we all talked, we understood, and we could all share our music. And we may not have agreed with one another, but you put the needle down, and all of a sudden everybody's going, yeah, I'm with you on this. Yeah, and that's how it starts working. We got to start coming together. We got to start believing in one another. We got to start believing in our country. We got to start believing in our Constitution. We got to start believing in people. We got to start believing that we are a great country because we are. And we got to start coming together instead of allowing ourselves to be ripped apart by these partisan jive people who only care about themselves, who are only doing whatever they can to get power, stay in power, and utilize that power at the expense of poor people in this country and of the middle class. People in the middle class who are working so hard, who can hardly meet anything. They have like $400 sitting around for an emergency, which isn't going to pay for anything. When you have medical issues, it's going to get really bad. Where do we stand? Who is out there looking out for America? Nobody. They're only looking out for the rich people. The richer they get, the better they are. Hey, you need $5 billion. I know you can't buy enough of $5 billion, right, Joe? That's just not enough money. You got to have more. You got to go out there and get more crypto, and you got to change the regs so you and your family can just clean up. Wouldn't that be a good deal, Joe? I think it would be a great deal. I happen to like UL also. That's where we are with this. We have to come together. Come together, be one, start caring about people, start caring about making sure people have hopefully some type of health care. Because let me tell you, when everybody starts running in to the emergency room, it's going to cost us a whole lot more money. And you think these healthcare companies are going to be covering everybody? I'm questioning where all that's going to be happening. Look at their stocks in half getting smashed. Nobody knows what's going on. This country has become like I did many moons ago. I took an egg and I cracked it. We are Humpty Dumpty, and you can't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. It's over. It's over. It's going to be great one day, but what we knew, which was so great, when we were number one in the world, when the dollar was number one in the world, when people liked America and wanted to come here and visit and wanted Americans to come over, that's gone. That's gone for a long time.
I'm not so pessimistic, Mark.
Okay. Okay,
I'm
cool.
not the pessimist.
Well, the fact is, people aren't coming here, Joe. The fact is, we're not going overseas. The fact is, you have the BRIC countries coming together trying to trade. The fact is, where people always traded with us, and Australia wanted to work with us, and Japan to counter China, and then Europe to be able to counter Russia, ain't happening anymore because they can't trust us. The whole thing has fallen apart. Do I think it'll come back together again? Do I think the basic goodness of America can happen? Yeah, but we have crashed it and destroyed what we had. The American century is over. Now we're going to find out what it's going to become as we go forward. It's all breaking up. We don't have friends anymore. We got high cost.
Is the American century over?
It's been over.
Or is there a hope to turn things around?
Well, there's always a hope to turn it around, but it's over right now. You hope to start over again, to learn, to be able to see the mistakes that are made. It's going to take a long time because everybody's selfish and the rich people are out there pumping the cash into their pockets and not caring about anybody else, Joe. And that's the truth. This is all Epstein, this, Ukraine, this, that, and the other. Meanwhile, people are having trouble buying apples. People are having trouble buying nuts. People are having trouble going out. I see them they talk about, look at this. I mean, to go out, I saw these people have lunch today. $40 for lunch, 2 sandwiches, a soda, fries. That's crazy. And that's where we are right now. And how are people going to be able to afford it? It's not going to work. And that's where we're starting to really go deeper and deeper in because of all the problems of Trump. It doesn't matter. I don't want to talk Trump. America, if we don't start caring about other people, our kids, our friends, our neighbors, and make it start to come together, we are allowing these politicians to split. I'm trying to watch my words because we don't allow cuss words here, to split us up. And you can't do it. We have to stick together and understand we need to come together. Because we can't let these bums blow us up because they're doing a great job of it right now. Mike, how are you? Coming in. I like Mike. It's a good guy. So that's where we are. You got to listen to Stairway to Heaven. You got to listen to what's going on. I'm very worried. I'm just very worried, Joe. I believe, but I'm very worried. But as long as I got good friends, I got a good friend like Joe. I got good friends out there. We can talk. We can jive. We can yell at each other before the show begins. We can yell at each other after the show begins. One day we get 8,000 people watching. The next day we get 500 people watching. It doesn't matter. What matters is we can sit here and talk about this stuff, go at it, love one another, like our commentators, and just have a great time with this. And who cares? Tell it like it is. This is my legacy. I like to think this is Joe's legacy. And even though it sounds like we don't agree, we agree on so much stuff. It's just really kind of a little bit of difference here on the left or the right or how far we go with it. We said, Thomas, you seem you need a friend. Mom just ain't cutting it. Oh, Thomas, what are you going after Justin Dude for? It doesn't matter. We talk, say what you want to say. Who cares? Bottom line, imagine being... What?
Well, I really appreciate the people joining us today, and it's a good community. It's some really great comments in the chat. It's fantastic.
It's the summer. People come in, people go out. We get crazy. It's like amazing how it happens. I don't know how the algorithm works. I just love it.
It's important to have a group of people that you can talk with, and even if you don't agree with all the time, you can discuss things rationally and without getting too angry about it. So. Well,
I'm not too rational, but I get a little crazy sometimes. He's very nice calling me rational. Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. See, Joe takes up for me sometimes. He's seen me rational on occasion, and he knows I can be rational. So he takes up for me with that. Thank you, Joe. I do appreciate that. Not all following happens at the age of the artist. What do you do to leave behind a record allows for the future to understand? But it's hard for people to understand UL because unless you lived through it and felt it and saw it and had people around you, it's really hard to understand. But I agree, ripples become waves. That's why I try to put it out there. Joe and I have circled the sun so many times. Between us, we're in triple digits big time. We ain't fooling around. And we've learned a lot and we've seen a lot. We have context and we understand context. And we just know we got some great people. You know, today we got a lot of thumbs up. So I ain't complaining. I'm happy. I say right on. And what people have to say to Joe, though, I can't go without saying this again. Give Joe a new name. He needs a new name for a channel. He's always telling me, why won't people subscribe? I go, Joe, they can't find you. Next week, why won't people subscribe? Joe, they can't find you. Next week, why won't people subscribe? Joe, they can't find you. Yeah, I sound like a repeating record, but it's the truth. You know, back in the old days, these albums, they would get like a little scratch in them, really the 45s, and it would go and say the same thing over and over. So I'm going to say, Joe, need a new channel name. Joe, need a new channel name. Joe, need a new channel name. Everybody, let's do it. Give the guy some ideas. He's smart. He's happening. He knows what he's doing. We got to give him a channel name. Joe.
Average Joe. All right, there you go.
What are we going to do? Above average? Are you thinking about that? Above average Joe?
Average Joe.
What do you think?
Joe.
I like that. I like above average Joe. Now, you should check that out, Joe. See if there's a name like that. That's a name people will remember. What's this? I don't have Doctor versus Page, though. I'm sorry.
Joe in the know. Thank you.
Joe in the know. We're getting some names. Yeah. Joe, you should check those out. You should check them out. Mike, we love you. You should check those out. UL is a great idea. I love these names. Right on.
Joe knows.
This is more Joe knows. It could be NOSE or KNOWS, right?
Joe's nose.
I mean, it's tremendous. These are some great names. This is really tremendous. Thomas, does Dr. V's YouTube channel? Yeah, he has one, Thomas, but it's Dr. V.
It's hard to find.
Joe Talks, you can't find it. I've looked everywhere. I've done everything I can. So I say to him, Joe, you got to get a new one. Give thumbs up and say, Joe, guys, give thumbs up. Say, Joe, you need a new one. You need a new one.
On Sunday.
These are so good. We're going to raise that right away. It's hard to find. It is. It's just very hard to find. So we're going to change it. We're going to move it, and we're going to keep going. And we're going to make it happen. Joe's knows Joe's. I don't know. I like all these names. They're great names. Thank you for some of these ideas. This is crazy. Anything else, Joe? Joe in the know. Anything else, Joe?
That's it, Mark.
This is the question I want you all to ask Joe on Sunday when we're talking. Joe, have you picked a new name? Have you opened up your channel? And we are
right after this.
And we are ready to subscribe, Joe, because Mark pushes it hard. Every show, Mark pushes it hard. Subscribe to Joe. Joe, we're on your side, Joe. Give us a smile, Joe. That's the look we want to see. That's horrible. Don't give me the shake. Give me a smile. There you go. Come on, that's pretty weak. Come on, he can do better than that. I love it. You guys are great. Thank you all for watching us. We'll see you Sunday. That's going to be our big one. We'll see you Sunday. We'll be rocking thoughts, ideas, comments. Let us know. We're with you. Thank you all. Spartacus, Mike, all of you guys. Yoel, Thomas, we love you. Thank you very much for watching, for being a part of this. And give us comments whenever. We'll come back to you. I take a couple days. I'm always back to you. And we'll see you Sunday. And if you're square, we ain't there. Led Zeppelin 4. Oh, yeah. You got to listen. Led Zeppelin 4. And we're climbing a stairway to heaven. My God, everybody's going to hang up on that. Good guitar. I love you. And that's the way it is, Joe.
Period.
Period. We'll see you Sunday.